Welcome back to the program. Joining me now is Tamika Edwards. She's a contributor to Talk Business and Politics. She's also with Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. They have their 2018 Voters Guide out, taking action on the issues that would impact our children. I'm going to give this back to you afterwards. So
yes,
since I've already read through it here, let's talk about a couple of issues that you all single out in here and just kind of get your take on where things kind of stand currently. Let's begin with health care. We just finished our fiscal session as well as a special session. Medicaid expansion survives another legislative vote.
Good.
Some stipulations on this now. We got the work requirements here. Are you concerned about the work requirements?
We are concerned about the impact that it will have in more rural areas where we don't have as many opportunities for work, and what happens to those individuals there. And so will they lose their health care? Would they have to move? And we shouldn't have to place that choice in front of individuals, and so we are concerned in that realm what will happen.
I've got some questions about the logistics of it. I've had Cindy Gillespie on. We walked through kind of how it's going to work, but you basically have to have access to the internet, which is something that a lot of rural communities don't have.
Absolutely.
Or at least it's a struggle to get there. And so, I mean, how do you see overcoming that component? I'm
not sure. I know that we've had several conversations in the state about broadband access and making sure that rural communities have that kind of access, but it will be something that we need to pay attention to and watch and see what happens.
Lakeview and education, another big issue for your organization in the voter guide here. There's been a lot of conversations. It's just been hallway talk, Capitol corridor talk, nothing organized or moving. That maybe it's time to revisit Lakeview in the wake of the sovereign immunity decision from the Supreme Court about the fact that the state cannot be sued. Number one, I would trust that you guys would fight that tooth and nail because of what it has done for stabilizing some education funding. But secondly, do you think maybe it opens up a question of, is there a better way to fund public education?
Well, I think it also opens the question of continuing what's adequate. So are we really providing our schools and our students with adequate education? And so opening Lakeview will cause us to look at that, but it also may have drawbacks that we don't know what those would look like. But we would pay close attention to what happens there and the impact that it will have on the children of this state.
Is it okay to have that conversation, though? To have that conversation about Lakeview set all of this stuff in stone, but maybe we should look at this through a new lens. It's been over a decade.
I think we just have to be very careful about what that lens is. Is that lens looking at what's best for children, what's best for the education system here in our state, or what's best for adults? And so that's the continued arguments that we have, what's best for adults versus what's best for children, and we have to maintain the focus on our children.
Taxes, another issue important to your organization, another issue in the voter guide right here.
It is.
There's a task force looking at a variety of things going on at the state level in terms of taxes. What do you like in terms of what they're talking about up there at the Capitol? What do you have some concerns about?
We like that they like an earned income tax credit, something that we've continued to push for several years here in the state.
You guys have been pushing an earned income tax credit? This is the first I've heard of this, Tamika.
Yes, we pushed that. And so there have been several groups who have also supported us, and several legislators who have also expressed that they recognize that the earned income tax credit is a way to move families from poverty, or at least to help stimulate their own individual budgets. And so we like that talk, of course, because it's something that we've worked on for several years. But I think it's also good that legislators are taking a look at the entire tax system and raising some questions about what's going on. But of course, we keep our focus on the earned income tax credit and making sure that we don't cut taxes in the state too low, or really cut taxes so that we have a detrimental impact on our budget.
I can say it, maybe you can't say it. They're going to cut taxes in the next legislative session, so gear up and get ready.
We shall watch and we shall see.
Tamika Edwards, she's with Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. She's also a Talk Business and Politics contributor. You're working on your next column, I presume?
Absolutely,
yes,
Roby.
All right, we'll be looking for that at Talk Business. Good to see you as always, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. We talk banking with Adam Mitchell. He's the newly named president of Citizens Bank of Batesville right after this.